you're a returning viewer, welcome. I always love when you guys come. You're my biggest supporters. And if you're new here, welcome as always. I welcome you as well. For those who don't know me, my name is Tiara, aka TT. And in this segment, Black, Female, Queer, and Legal, I will be bringing to you Fourth Amendment search and seizure. However, this is the third part. In the second part, I released a little bit earlier today. I wanted to get this part in there because I kind of wanted to break them up, because this is it's a part of searches, and I feel like it's a controversial topic. A lot of people aren't really 100% sure when it is legal and illegal for strip searches to take place, dog sniffs, surveillance. So I wanted to cover that because it may be a while before I put out the next video in regards to this, which will be the fourth part of this video, and we'll be covering pretty much searches in all aspects of when it comes to like warrantless searches. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, so I just want to cover this part real quick and let you guys get back onto your day. Your ladies as well. I don't want anyone to feel left out, or anyone that identifies in between. So where I want to start with is, with searches. A search occurs when a governmental employee or agent of the government violates an individual's reasonable expectation of privacy. That is when the Fourth Amendment is violated with a search. And there's different aspects. So say, for instance, the strip search. Strip searches are legal in certain areas or certain aspects, and they're legal in the other. You know what I'm saying? So in the area where it's legal, the circumstances that it's legal, it's upon arrest, placement in any jail or prison, and the only reason why, well, I don't want to say the only reason, but the main reason why was decided in two cases. It's the case Florence v. Board of Chosen Freeholders of County of Burlington in 2012, and Bulfish v. Wolfish, 1979. So to kind of backtrack, we'll start with the Bell v. Wolfish, 1979. In that case, it stated that as long as searches within institutions were conducted, they're protected based on safeguarding institutional security. So meaning that if you're going to be apprehended, arrested, for a long period of time, you're not free to go, you're under arrest, you're going to be in a jail, a prison, any institution where there's other, governmental actors, as well as, people, to permit safety. Strip searches are possible. It's legal. They're allowed to do it. It's just pretty much to make sure that you're not sneaking in, anything that shouldn't be in there. No contraband, no guns, no drugs, none of that. No weapons, any of that craziness. In Florence v. Board of Chosen Freeholders of County of Burlington, strip searches were permitted in jails and prisons because the court determined the penal institutions have an undeniable need to maintain safety and order within their facilities. So it's not only for security, but it's to maintain order. So strip searches are only allowed in the aspect of you're going to be held for long periods of time within a government or governmental institution, pretty much. So if you're going, into the airport and you're just trying to catch an airplane, they shouldn't be strip searching you. Another area, dog sniff. So the dog sniff search is legal when it is conducted during a legitimate traffic stop. So say, for instance, when you're passing the border, here the closest to us is well, to me, is Canada, because I'm in New York and upstate. So, say for instance, if I was to go across Canada border, if they were to stop me and bring up a dog and the dog is sniffing my vehicle, it's not a violation of, you know, my Fourth Amendment right, because however, that stop is legit. They're making sure that I'm not, you know, trafficking people, not doing anything that I'm not supposed to be doing, you know, that's considered illegal or criminal. And it's the border, you know, I mean, if you're going to do some crazy stuff, that's one of the places that you want to stay away from, because it's, you know, heavily populated with some security, you know what I'm saying? Some police, you know? So dog sniffs are illegal when it's conducted during a legitimate traffic stop. However, it depends on timing. Just remember that. I'm going to get to that. So I'm going to give you the cases. In Illinois v. Caballes, I'm assuming it's a Hispanic name, Caballes. 2005, it stated that there's no right to privacy in a vehicle with drug sniffing dogs on scene during a legitimate traffic stop. So that case was decided in 2005. And then it said that, like I told you, it becomes illegal based on timing. So if, say for instance, you get pulled over for speeding and you ain't at the border, you know, you just driving your local interstate, and you more than likely headed towards your city, you know, to go work or something. Cop pull you over, they're like, "Ma'am, you merged lanes, you didn't use a turn signal, you gotta pull you over." You're like, "All right, license, registration," you give them all your stuff. 30 minutes later, you know, you haven't been released yet. And now all of a sudden, there's some motherfucking dog sniff or sniff dog, you know, coming out of nowhere. The drug sniffing dog coming out of nowhere to, you know, do their thing. And you know, that's not a legitimate stop, okay? They can't hold you for long periods of time trying to call for motherfucking drug smelling dogs, you know what I'm saying, contraband smelling dogs. They have the time that it takes to pull your license and registration and pretty much write you a ticket, which usually takes no more than like 10 minutes. So it's illegal after that. They can't hold you indefinitely so you can get your car sniffed. No, that's crazy. In regards to electronic surveillance, let's get into the definition. Electronic surveillance can implicate the Fourth Amendment right of the people to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizure. So, for those who thought that it could not, you know, that it was legal for surveillance, it is when they get a search warrant just like they do for every other search. You know what I'm saying? So, it comes along with, in the case Olmstead v. U.S. 1928, says that electronic eavesdropping was deemed not a violation. Remember, that said in 1928. Electronic eavesdropping was not deemed a violation to the Fourth Amendment because it was based on the notion that the government intercepted the conversation without physically intruding one's dwellings in conversation. But then, in 1967, it was overruled in the case Olmstead v. Katz, or in Olmstead in Katz v. U.S., where it stated that any place where a person reasonably expects privacy is covered under the Fourth Amendment. So, in your house, talking on your phone in your house, that's reasonable expectation of privacy. So therefore, the government cannot just tap into your phone line without going through the proper channel that they do for every other search. But yeah, so they have to get a search warrant for just like every other search. Then it stated that in Kyllo v. U.S. 2001, it says that a person must exhibit an actual expectation of privacy. Subjective expectation of privacy. And the expectation be one that society is prepared to recognize as reasonable. So what this one did was pretty much kind of went off on the Katz v. U.S., which states that if you had a reasonable expectation of privacy, then it's covered under the Fourth Amendment. But it's just adding more to it. It's saying not only do you have the reasonable expectation of privacy, but the public can agree that there is reasonable expectation of privacy there. That's all that did. So in conclusion, surveillance is held to the same standards. So is so is strip searches, to some extent. But surveillance is held to the same standards as any other search and seizure. You got to get a warrant for that, okay? Strip searches, you can't just be you can't be searching people butt naked just when you feel like it. I understand if they was in your care, your custody, and you a motherfreaking a correction officer, you a babysitter of inmates. It makes sense to motherfreaking do strip searches in prisons and jails. But out here in public, you on the street, at the airport, trying to get to your airplane, it's unnecessary, dude. Unnecessary. And the same thing with these dog sniffs. If there's actually people out here holding people indefinitely for dog sniffs to show up, stop that. You wrong. Stop it. Peace.